Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
This week is Parashah 8, which begins with Genesis 32:3. You'll find that on page 35 of your complete Jewish Bible. Jacob sent messages ahead of him to Esau his brother, toward the land of Seir, the country of Edom, with these instructions. Here's what you are to say to my lord Esau. Your servant Jacob says, I've been living with Laban and have stayed until now. I have cattle, donkeys, and flocks, and male and female servants. I am sending to tell this news to my lord in order to win your favor. The messages returned to Jacob, saying, We went to your brother Esau, and he's coming to meet you. With him are 400 men.
Jacob became greatly afraid and distressed. He divided the people, flocks, cattle, and camels with him into 2 camps, saying, If Esau comes to one camp and attacks it, at least the camp that is left will escape. Then Jacob said, God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, Adonai, who told me, Return to your country and your kinsmen, and I will do you good. I'm not worthy of all the love and faithfulness you have shown your servant since I crossed the Jordan with only my staff. But now I have become 2 camps. Please rescue me from my brother Esau. I'm afraid of him, afraid he'll come and attack me, without regard for mothers or children. You said, I will certainly do you good and make your descendants as numerous as the grains of sand by the sea, which are so many they can't be counted.
He stayed there that night. Then he chose from among his possessions the following as a present for Esau his brother: 200 female goats and 20 males, 200 female sheep and 20 males, 30 milk camels and their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys and 10 colts. He turned them over to his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, Cross over in front of me, and keep a space between each drove and the next one.
He instructed the servant in front, When Esau, my brother, meets you and asks you, Whose servant are you? Where are you going? And whose animals are these? Then you are to say, They belong to your servant Jacob, and they are present. He has sent to my lord Esau, and Jacob himself is just behind us. He also instructed the 2nd servant and the 3rd, and all that followed the droves. When you encounter Esau, you are to speak to him the same way, and you are to add, And there, just behind us, is your servant Jacob. For he said, I will appease him first with the present that goes ahead of me. Then, after all, I will see him myself, and maybe he will be friendly toward me. So the present crossed over ahead of him, and he himself stayed that night in the camp.
He got up that night, took his 2 wives, his 2 slave girls, and his 11 children, and forded the Jordan. Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream, then sent his possessions across, and Jacob was left alone. Then some man wrestled with him until daybreak. When he saw that he did not defeat Jacob, he struck Jacob's hip socket, so that his hip was dislocated while wrestling with him. The man said, Let me go, because it's daybreak. But Jacob replied, I won't let you go unless you bless me. The man asked, What is your name? And he answered, Jacob. Then the man said, From now on, you will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have shown your strength to both God and men and have prevailed. Jacob asked him, Please tell me your name. But he answered, Why are you asking about my name? And blessed him there.
Jacob called the place Peniel, face of God, because I've seen God's face to face. I've seen God face to face, yet my life is spared. As the sun rose up on him, he went on to Peniel, limping at the hip. This is why, to this day, the people of Israel do not eat the thigh muscle that passes along the hip socket, because the man struck Jacob's hip at its socket.
Jacob raised his eyes and looked out, and there was Esau coming, and 400 men with him. So Jacob divided the children between Leah, Rachel, and the 2 slave girls, putting the slave girls and their children first, Leah and her children second, and Rachel and Joseph last. Then he himself passed on ahead of them and prostrated himself on the ground 7 times before approaching his brother. Esau ran to meet him, hugged him, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him, and they wept. Esau looked up. On seeing the women and children, he asked, Who are these with you? Jacob answered, The children God has graciously given to your servant.
Then the slave girls approached with their children, and they prostrated themselves. Leah, too, and her children approached and prostrated themselves. And last came Joseph and Rachel, and they prostrated themselves. And Esau asked, What was the meaning of this procession of droves I encountered? And he answered, It was to win my Lord's favor. And Esau replied, I have plenty already, my brother. Keep your possessions for yourself. And Jacob said, No, please. If now I have won your favor, then accept my gift. Just seeing your face has been like seeing the face of God, now that you have received me. So please accept the gift I have brought you, for God has dealt kindly with me, and I have enough. Thus he urged him until he accepted it.
Esau said, Let's break camp and get going. I'll go first. Jacob said to him, My Lord knows that the children are small, and the sheep and cattle sucking their young concern me. Because if they overdrive them even one day, all the flocks will die. Instead, please let my Lord go ahead of his servant. I will travel more slowly, at the pace of the cattle ahead of me and at the pace of the children, until I come to my Lord in Seir. Esau replied, Then let me leave you with some of the people I have with me. But Jacob said, There's no need for my Lord to be so kind to me. So Esau left that day to return to Seir. Jacob went on to Sukkot, where he built himself a house and put up shelters for his cattle. This is why the place is called Sukkot, meaning shelters.
Having traveled from Padan Aram, Jacob arrived safely at the city of Shechem in Canaan and set up camp near the city. From the sons of Hamor, Shechem's father, he bought for 100 pieces of silver the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent. There he put up an altar, which he called El Elohe Israel, God, the God of Israel.
One time, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to visit the local girls. And Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hittite, the local ruler, saw her, grabbed her, raped her, and humiliated her. But actually, he was strongly attracted to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. He fell in love with the girl and tried to win her affection. Shechem spoke with his father Hamor and said, Get this girl from me. I want her to be my wife.
When Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter, his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Jacob restrained himself until they came. Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him, just as Jacob's sons were coming in from the field. When they heard what had happened, the men were saddened and were very angry at the outrage this man had committed against Israel by raping Jacob's daughter, something that is simply not done. But Hamor said to them, "My son Shechem's heart is set on your daughter. Please give her to him as his wife and intermarry with us. Give your daughters to us and take our daughters for yourself. And you will live with us and the land will be available to you. You'll live, do business and acquire possessions here."
Then Shechem said to her father and brothers, "Only accept me, and I will give whatever you tell me. Ask as large a bride price as you like. I'll pay whatever you tell me. Just let me marry the girl." The sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor, his father, deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah, their sister. They said to them, "We can't do it, because it would be a disgrace to give our sister to someone who hasn't been circumcised. Only on this condition will we consent what you are asking, that you become like us by having every male among you get circumcised. Then we'll give our daughters to you, and we'll take your daughters for ourselves, and we'll live with you and become one people. But if you won't do as we say and get circumcised, then we'll take our daughter and go away." What they said seemed fair to Hamor and Shechem, the son of Hamor, and the young man did not put off doing what was asked of him, even though he was the most respected member of his father's family, because he so much wanted Jacob's daughter.
Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the entrance of the city and spoke with its leading men. "These people are peaceful towards us. Therefore, let them live in the land and do business in it. For, as you can see, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters as wives for ourselves, and we'll give them our daughters. But the people will consent to live with us and become one people only on this condition, that every male among us gets circumcised, as they themselves are circumcised. Won't their cattle, their possessions, and all their animals be ours? Only let's consent to do what they ask, and then they will live with us." Everyone going out the city's gate listened to Hamor and Shechem, his son. So every male was circumcised, every one that went out the gate of the city.
On the third day after the circumcision, when they were in pain, two of Jacob's sons, Simon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took their swords, boldly descended on the city and slaughtered all the males. They killed Hamor and Shechem his son with their swords, took Dinah out of Shechem's house and left. Then the sons of Jacob entered over the dead bodies of those who had been slaughtered and plundered the city in reprisal for defiling their sister. They took their flocks, cattle, donkeys, and everything else, whether in the city or in the field, everything they owned. Their children and wives they took captive, and they looted whatever was in the houses.
But Jacob said to Simon and Levi, "You have caused me trouble by making me stink in the opinion of the local inhabitants, the Canaanite and the Perizzite. Since I don't have many people, they'll align themselves together against me and attack me, and I will be destroyed, I and my household." And they replied, "Should we let our sister be treated like a whore?"
God said to Jacob, "Get up and go to Beit El and live there, and make there an altar to God, who appeared to you when you fled Esau your brother." Then Jacob said to his household and all the others with him, "Get rid of the foreign gods that you have with you. Purify yourselves and put on fresh clothes. We're going to move on and go up to Beit El." There I will build an altar to God, who answered me when I was in such distress and stayed with me wherever I went. They gave Jacob all the foreign gods in their possession and the earrings they were wearing. And Jacob buried them under the pistachio tree near Shechem. While they were traveling, a terror from God fell upon the cities around them, so that none of them pursued the sons of Jacob.
Jacob and all the people with him arrived at Luz, that is Beit El, in the land of Canaan. He built there an altar and called the place Beit El, God of Beit El, because it was there that God was revealed to him at the time when he was fleeing from his brother.
Then Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died. She was buried below Beit El under the oak, which was given the name Alon Bakot, oak of weeping.
After Jacob arrived from Padan Aram, God appeared to him again and blessed him. God said to him, "Your name is Jacob, but you will be called Jacob no longer. Your name will be Israel." Thus he named him Israel. God further said to him, "I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation indeed, a group of nations will come from you. Kings will be descended from you. Moreover, the land which I gave to Abraham and Isaac, I will give to you, and I will give the land to your descendants after you." Then God went up from him there where he had spoken with him. And Jacob set up a standing stone in the place where he had spoken with him, a stone pillar. He poured out a drink offering on it and poured oil on it. And Jacob called the place where God spoke with him Beit El.
Then they traveled on from Beit El, and while there was still some distance to go before arriving in Ephrat, Rachel went into labor, and she had great difficulty with it. While she was undergoing this hard labor, the midwife said to her, "Don't worry, this is also a son for you." But she died in childbirth. As she was dying, she named her son Ben-Omi, son of my grief. But his father called him Benjamin, son of the right hand, son of the south. So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrat, that is, Beit Lechem. Jacob set up a standing stone on her grave. It is the standing stone of Rachel's grave to this day.
Now we are at Genesis 35:21. Sorry for the interruption. Israel continued his travels and pitched his tent on the other side of the Migdal Eder. It was while Israel was living in that land of the that Reuben went and slept with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it.
Jacob had 12 sons. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's slave girl, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's slave girl, were Gad and Asher. These were Jacob's sons born to him in Padan Aram.
Jacob came home to his father Isaac at Mamre near Kiryat Arba, also known as Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had lived as foreigners. Isaac lived to be 180 years old. Then he breathed his last, died, and was gathered to his people, an old man full of years, and his sons Esau and Jacob buried him.
This is the genealogy of Esau, that is, Edom. Esau chose Canaanite women as his wives. Ada, the daughter of Elon the Hittite, Ohibimilah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon the Hittite, Basmat, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Neviot. Ada bore to Esau Eliphaz. Basmat bore Ruel, and Obimeliah bore Ishu, Elam, and Karak. These were the sons of Esau born to him in the land of Canaan.
Now Esau took his wives, his sons and daughters, the others in his household, and his cattle and other animals and everything else he owned, which he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and went off to a country distant from his brother Jacob. For their possessions had become too great for them to live together, and the countryside through which they were traveling couldn't support much livestock. So Esau lived in the hill country of Seir. Esau is Edom.
This is the genealogy of Esau, the father of Edom, in the hill country of Seir. The names of Esau's sons were Eliphaz, son of Adah, the wife of Esau, and Reuel, son of Basmat, the wife of Esau.
The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Tetzpho, Gatan, and Ganatz. Timnah was the concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the descendants of Adah, Esau's wife.
The sons of Reuel were Nachat, Zerach, Shammah, and Mitzah. These were the sons of Basmat, Esau's wife.
These were the sons of Obimalah, the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Tazan, Esau's wife. She bore to Esau Yeshush, Yamlam, and Korach.
The chieftains of the sons of Esau were the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau, and the chieftains of Teman, Omar, Zepho, Kanat, Korach, Gatam, and Amalek. These were the chieftains descended from Eliphaz in Edom, and from Adah.
The sons of Reuel, Esau's son, were the chieftains of Nahash, Zerach, Shamla, and Zitzah. These were the chieftains descended from Reuel in the land of Edom, and from Basmat, Esau's wife.
The sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife, were the chieftains of Jeshush, Yalam, and Korach. These were the chieftains descended from Oholibamah, the daughter of Anna, Esau's wife.
These were the descendants of Esau, that is Edom, and these were their chieftains. And if I may make a comment about Esau, remember Esau was the one that God did not approve of.
These were the descendants of Seir the Horai, the local inhabitants: Lotan, Shoval, Zevon, Anna, Dishon, Etzer, and Dishan. They were the chieftains descended from the Horai, the people of Seir in the land of Edom. The sons of Lotan were Horai and Hermon. Lotan's sister was Timnah. Sons of Shoval were Elvan and Menchat, Abiel, Shopho, and Onam. Sons of Zevion were Ai and Anna. This is the Anna who found the hot springs in the desert while pasturing his father Zevon's donkeys. The children of Anna were Dishon and Obilimah, the daughter of Anna. The sons of Dishon were Hamdan, Eshban, Yitran, and Karan. The sons of Etzer were Bilam, Zabain, and Achan. The sons of Dishon were Ut and Aran. These were the chieftains descended from the Horai, the chieftains of Lotan, Shoval, Zebion, Anna, Dishon, Etzer, and Dishan. They were the chieftains descended from the Horai by their clans in Seir.
Following are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king had reigned over the people of Israel. Bela, the son of Beer, or reigned in Edom. The name of the city was Dinavah. When Bela died, Yovak, the son of Zerach and Botzra, reigned in the palace. When Yobak died, Husham, from the land of the Temamai, reigned in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, the son of Bedad, who killed Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his place. The name of this city was Apit. When Hadad died, Samlah, a Maskara, reigned in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul, the Rechoboth by the river, reigned in his place. When Shaul died, Baal, Canaan, the son of Akabor, reigned in his place. When Baal Canaan died, Haddah reigned in his place. And the name of the city was Pau, and his wife's name was Mahatka, the daughter of Metret, the daughter of Maitzrach.
These are the names of the chieftains descended from Esau, according to their clans, places, and names. The chieftains of Timnah, Alba, Yetet, Obilimaha, Elah, Pinion, Kanaz, Teman, Mishvah, Megadel, and Iram. These are the chieftains of Edom according to their settlements in the land they owned. This is Esau, the father of Edom. And then we go to Hosea. Hosea 11:7 through 12:12. Find that on page 719.
Hosea?
11:7.
Oh, is it Hosea or Joshua?
Hosea.
Okay, 7, what's the page?
11:7 on 719.
Okay. 11:7. My people are hanging in suspense about returning to me, and though they call them upwards, nobody makes a move. Ephraim, how I can give you up or surrender you, Israel. How could I treat you like Admah or make you like Tezavoian? My heart recoils at the idea, as compassion warms within me. I will not give vent to the fierceness of my rage. I will not return to destroy Ephraim, for I am God, not a human being, the Holy One among you. So I will not come in fury. They will go after Adonai, who will roar like a lion, for he will roar, and the children will come trembling from the vest. They will tremble like a bird as they come from Egypt, like a dove as they come from the land of Asher. And I will resettle them in their own houses.
Ephraim surrounds me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit. Judah still rules with God and is faithful with holy ones. Ephraim is chasing the wind, pursuing the wind from the east. All day he piles up lies and desolation. They make a covenant with Asher while sending olive oil to Egypt.
Adonai also has a grievance against Judah. He will punish Jacob according to his ways and pay him back for his misdeeds. In the womb he took his brother by the heel. In the strength of his manhood he fought with God. Yes, he fought with an angel and won. He wept and pleaded with him. Then at Beit El he found him, and there he would later speak with us. Adonai Elohim Tazavo. Adonai is his name. So you return to your God, hold fast to grace and justice, and always put your hope in your God.
A huckster keeps false scales, and he loves to cheat. Ephraim says, I have gotten so rich, I have made me a fortune. and in all my prophets no one will find anything wrong or sinful.
But I am God, I am Adonai your God, from the land of Egypt. Again I will make you live in tents, as in the days of the established festival. I have spoken to the prophets. It was I who gave vision after vision. Through the prophets I gave examples to show what it would all be like. As Gilead given to iniquity, yes, they have become worthless. Gilgal they sacrifice to bulls. In Gilgal they sacrifice to bulls. Therefore their altars are like piles of stones in a plowed field.
And we have Obadiah 1:1-21. Find that on page 742. This is the vision of Obadiah. Here's what Adonai Elohim says about Edom. As a messenger was being sent among the nations, saying, "Come on, let's attack her," we heard a message from Adonai. "I am making you the least of all nations. You will be beneath contempt. Your proud heart has deceived you, you whose homes are caves in the cliffs, who live on the heights and say to yourselves, 'Who can bring me down to the ground?' If you make your nest as high as an eagle's, even if you place it among the stars, I will bring you down from there," says Adonai.
If thieves were to come to you, or if robbers by night, oh, how destroyed you are. Wouldn't they stop when they'd stolen enough? If grape pickers came to you, wouldn't they leave some grapes for gleaming? But see how Esau has been looted, their secret treasures searched out. Your allies went with you only to the border. Those at peace with you deceived and defeated you. Those who ate your food set a trap for you, and you couldn't discern it. When that day comes, says Adonai, won't I destroy all the wise men of Eden and leave no discernment on Mount Esau? Your warriors, T-Man, will be so distraught that everyone on Mount Esau will be slaughtered. For the violence done to your kinsman Jacob, shame will cover you, and you will be forever cut off. On that day you stood aside, while strangers carried off his treasure, and foreigners entered his gates. To cast lots for Jerusalem, you were no different from them. You shouldn't have gloated over your kinsmen on their day of disaster, or rejoiced over the people of Judah on their day of destruction. You shouldn't have spoken arrogantly on the day of trouble, or entered the gate of my people on their day of calamity. No, you shouldn't have gloated over their suffering on their day of calamity, or laid hands on their treasure on their day of calamity. You should have stood at the crossroad to cut down their fugitives or handed over their survivors on the day of trouble.
For the day of Adonai is near for all nations. As you did, it will be done to you. Your dealings will come back on your own head. But just as you have drunk on the holy mountain, so will all the nations drink in turn. Yes, they will drink and gulp it down and be as if they had never existed.
But on Mount Zion there will be a holy remnant who will escape, and the house of Jacob will repossess their rightful inheritance. The house of Jacob will be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, setting a flame and consuming the stubble, which is the house of Esau. None of the house of Esau will remain, for Adonai has spoken. Those in the Negev will repossess the mountain of Esau, and those in the Shephelah, the land of the Philistine, they will repossess the field of Ephraim and the field of Samaria. And Benjamin will occupy Gilead. Those from his army of the people of Israel exiled among the Canaanite as far as the Zavarat. And the exiles of Jerusalem is Saphrat will repossess the cities of the Negev. Then the victorious will ascend Mount Zion to rule over Mount Esau, but the kingship will belong to Adonai.
And we have Matthew 2:13 through 23. You find that on page 1225. Matthew 2:13. After they had gone, an angel of Adonai appeared to Joseph in a dream and said, "Get up, take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt, and stay there until I tell you to leave. For Herod is going to look for the child in order to kill him." So he got up, took the child and his mother, and left during the night for Egypt, where he stayed until Herod died. This happened in order to fulfill what Adonai had said through the prophet, "Out of Egypt I called my son."
Meanwhile, when Herod realized that the Magi had tricked him, he was furious and gave orders to kill all the boys in and around Beit-Lechem, who were 2 years old or less, calculating from the time of the Magi had told him. In this way were fulfilled the words spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, sobbing and lamenting loudly. It was Rachel sobbing for her children and refusing to be comforted because they are no longer alive.
After Herod's death, an angel of Adonai appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt and said, "Get up and take the child and his mother and go to Eretz Israel, for those who wanted to kill the child are dead." So he got up, took the child and his mother, and went back to Eretz Israel. However, when he heard that Archelaus had succeeded his father Herod as king of Judah, he was afraid to go there. Warned in a dream, he withdrew to the Galilee and settled in a town called Nazareth, so that what had been spoken by the prophets might be fulfilled, that he will be called a Nazarite. And then we have Matthew 26:36 through 46. You find that on page 1258.
36. Then Yeshua went with his Talmudim to a place called Gethsemane and said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took with him Peter and Zebedee, two sons. Grief and anguish came over him, and he said to them, "My heart is so filled with sadness that I could die. Remain here and stay awake with me." Going on a little further, he fell on his face, praying, "Oh, my Father, if possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not what I want, but what you want." He returned to the Talmudim and found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, Were you so weak that you couldn't stay awake with me for even an hour? Stay awake and pray that you will not be put to the test. The spirit indeed is eager, but human nature is weak."
A second time he went off and prayed, "My Father, if this cup cannot pass away unless I drink it, Let what you want be done." Again he returned and found them sleeping. Their eyes were so heavy.
Leaving them again, he went off and prayed a third time, saying the same words. Then he came to the Talmudim and said, "For now, go on sleeping. Take your rest. Look, the time has come for the Son of Man to be betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let's go. Here comes my betrayer."
Then we have Hebrews 11 through 20. And you find that on page 1505. By trusting, he received potency to father a child, even when he was past the age for it, as was Sarah herself, because he regarded the one who had made the promise as trustworthy. Therefore this one man, who was virtually dead, fathered descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and as countless as the grains of sand on the seashore. All these people kept on trusting until they died, without receiving what had been promised. They had only seen it and welcomed it from a distance, while acknowledging that they were aliens and temporary residents on the earth. For people who speak this way make it clear that they are looking for a fatherland. Now, if they were to keep recalling the one they left, they would have an opportunity to return. But as it is, they aspire to a better fatherland, a heavenly one. This is why God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city.
By trusting, Abraham, when he was put to the test, offered up Isaac as a sacrifice. Yes, he offered up his only son. He who had received the promises, to whom it had been said, "What is called your seed will be Isaac." For he had concluded that God could even raise people from the dead, and figuratively speaking, he did so receive him.
By trusting, Isaac and his blessings over Jacob and Esau made reference to events yet to come.
Thank you, Father God, for reminding us of how your character treated your own people so long ago. We humble ourselves before you as we seek your instructions, Lord. Please help us in these trying times and give us the strength to prevail. And thank you for allowing us to see that the remnant is nothing new, that even though we appear to be so few, we are your special remnant. And we trust that this is a blessing. Therefore, we worship you this morning and pray in the name of Yeshua that you will help us. Help us to go forward day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. Amen.
Amen.